Hey my crafty creators, Rachel from RK Ribbon Designs. I'm going to show you guys how I make my fun green monster inspired swirl picks. I had a few people ask about them. It's basically the same thing as when I did the tutorial of all of this, just the solid color, except for this one I'm using 2 yarns instead of just 1. So we'll just go over it really quickly. I'm going to be using 18 gauge wire, and this I'm using the ones from Hobby Lobby. They're a little bit longer than like the ones you get off of Amazon. So these are 16 inches long, and they're the 18 gauge. You can get them in their like floral section. And I'm going to be using the 3 different yarns. So this red and white I get from Premier Yarns, and it's the Parfait XL. And I'll put a code in the descriptions for if you're a first time buyer, you can get 10% off. But I really like theirs. They usually have a big color selection. They do kind of shed a lot at the end, so that's the only thing I don't love. But you can also get it from Michaels. Michaels will have it every once in a while. I feel like they just don't have it regularly. Premier usually always will have the colors you need. This color here, though, this was a Joann's buy. I know, and I have not been able to find it. Luckily, when they were going out, I bought a bunch of it. But it's the Yarnspirations Bernat Blanket Extra. Michaels is supposed to take over their yarn, so I haven't seen it yet, but maybe soon. And this one is their Bright Lime. So Premier has a green, kind of green monsters. It's just not, it's not like super limey. It's a little more dull, but you can still use it as well if you need to. So first thing we're going to do, we're just going to take this green one here, put these off to the side. I'm just going to take one of my wires and I'm going to put some glue right at the top here, just a little dab. And then I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to put it right over the glue, but I'm going to have a little bit of it hanging over, and then I'm going to wrap it around and pinch it. So just make sure that I'm using a low temp glue, but if you use a high temp glue or something, just watch your fingers. And then I'm just going to start twisting. So I'm twisting this wire here, and I'm holding the yarn in my hand here so that I can keep it, so when it twists onto the wire, there's not any spaces. I'm just keeping it so that the twist is nice and tight. And I'm just going to wrap the yarn all the way down until I get to about 2 inches of the wire exposed. So we're just going to wrap it, wrap it, wrap it. So I have about 2 inches here of the wire. Then I'm going to put some glue right here at the bottom. Then I'm going to twist it, and then I'm going to pinch it. So you're going to do that same thing with your white. And I already made one here. So you'll have your white and your green. Now we're going to do our double color. So we're using the red and white. And the thing is, when you're going to be using 2 colors, if you're going to be making multiples of these, you want to make sure that you're sticking with whatever color you have on the top. So I like to have the white on the top. So when I make more of them, I want to make sure that the white's always at the top. Because if you start with the red on the top, even though you won't think about it, it's going to show up differently on your, when you wrap your wire or wrap your yarn around your wire. So just make sure that you understand that. Otherwise, I mean, if you don't care, it's fine, but sometimes it's really noticeable that, how come this one looks a little different? So just make sure whatever color you start at the top, that you continue to start at the top as you keep going. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a little bit more glue though, because we have to attach 2 pieces of yarn. And we're going to do the same thing, both of them side by side. I'm going to come over and I'm going to push it, and I'm going to have that little extra. Then I'm going to fold it over and pinch it. For this yarn, you want to be careful because, again, it's not super strong at the end. It will fray. So I try to fold it over enough and really pinch it. And then when I get started, I'm not pulling this yarn, because if you pull it too much, it'll just pull off. So I'm just going to twist it first and then kind of let it go. And then I start twisting it a little faster. And again, you're going to want to make sure you're holding your 2 pieces of yarn with this hand side by side so that they don't start twisting and overlapping each other. And you're just going to twist with this hand your wire. And again, we're going to go down to about 2 inches. I'm going to put some glue here, a little bit longer. And then we're going to twist till that glue is, you can't see it anymore, and then pinch. And then we're going to just cut there. These are from side. So now when you're going to roll them down, I always like to have the candy cane one in the middle. So I'm just going to make my little loop there. And then I'm just going to roll it down. You can roll it down to however size you want. I just kind of eyeball it. So I roll that one. This green or this white one needs to be a little longer. And then I'm going to roll the green one. So I always have the green one on the inside, so it's the littlest roll. So about there. You'll just want to make sure that it's short enough that it's going to fit up under your red. Okay, so now we're going to take some wire here. You can just use an 18 gauge wire from like Amazon for the stem, or you can use like the wire that you can get from like Home Depot or Lowe's. It's like a 14 gauge and a 16 gauge, and it comes in a coil. They're a lot stronger. I found some rods that I like to use now from Amazon, and I'll put those in the description. But you can use just regular 18 gauge wire for these as well for your stems. So we're just going to take some floral tape here, and we're going to start with our red and white. And I'm going to put my wire so it goes about an inch over the yarn. And then we're just going to start wrapping. And so we're just wrapping that swirl right onto our stem here. And then we're going to go with our next size, which is the white. And it's going to go backwards. So we have our red loop this way, and this one's going to be looping this way. And I'm going to come down here about 2 inches down is where I want to see the end of my yarn. It's going to actually probably be about 3 inches total with the stem, but for the yarn, I want it to go down about 2 inches. And I'm going to take some more floral tape. And again, I'm going to go just on the bottom part of the yarn there. I'm not going all the way up to match it where the red and white started. I'm just going to go down a little bit. And then we're just going to wrap this. It wants to turn. And you're going to wrap it until you don't see any more of that end piece. So you have your 2 here, and you can, you could just do 2 swirls if you wanted to. But now I want to do the green one, which is going to come on the inside. So I'm going to go down a little bit from where the white was. Same thing. So you have red up here, your white, and then your greens down here. And now we're going to take a longer piece because I just want to wrap the whole entire stem now. And we're going to just attach this green swirl on. So again, twisting, and make sure you're pulling on your floral tape just a little bit, not too much because it will tear. And if it tears, it's fine. You just put it right back on and start twisting again. But you want to start tugging at it because that's kind of what activates the stickiness. Some floral tapes are really sticky, some aren't really sticky at all. And if it's not really sticky at all, just use a little dab of glue at the very end to secure your floral tape. I'm just going to keep rolling it down. I don't see any more of the metal there. Okay, I'm just going to tear that off. Then we can just kind of twist it to fix it. If I need to roll these down a little bit more, do whatever. And then this is your final little swirl picks. So you can make a bunch of them and add them in your tree and your wreath and your garland. So many fun little ways of using these. All right, guys, make sure you subscribe to my page. You like this video so I can continue to give you great content. All right, have a great day. Bye.